yeah, I've tried many stones. Many. Most of the time I've been unsatisfied with all these stones. What's really fascinating about NSK stones is that the grit range of each stone is very accurate, and for someone that's doing polishing probably 50 to 60% of the time of my work, that is extremely important. Today I'm going to be talking about NSK Kogyo Diamond stones. I'm going to give a brief overview of everything about them, how to use them. But if you need more details, please leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you guys. I've been sharpening kitchen knives for about 25 years professionally, and in 2011 we opened Tosho Knife Arts, which has led me to be living in Japan full-time, where I work for different knife companies and blacksmiths, doing a lot of different custom work. So why do I primarily use NSK Kogyo stones for all my sharpening, polishing? Because they are fast, they're efficient, but the main reason for me is that it's a complete system, and that's what I'm looking for and why I use the NSK Kogyo Diamond stones. So over the years, I've tested a lot of different synthetic sharpening stones and also diamond stones. After testing a few different diamond stones here in Japan, I came back to NSK Kogyo stones, I think mainly because I saw that he had, one, gone a lot further in the different types of stones he was making and the different series he was making. To me, that was really important. The other thing that was very important was he also had ways of maintaining and flattening all of the stones from each series. This is really important for me, and something that was lacking in every other type of diamond stone I saw on the market. Other stones, other diamond stones do have the similar grit ranges that NSK Kogyo has, but that was primarily in non-diamond synthetic stones. So for me, what it was that brought me back to NSK was, it was this system that was really incredible and something that I really wanted to start using and getting into and understanding what it was about these stones that was so fascinating and how they worked and how the different levels, hardness, softness. The other aspect about them that is really fascinating is that they're, with each series of NSK Kogyo Diamond stone, you get a unique cutting experience. So how fast they cut, the speed that they're cutting the steel at. For example, sometimes I'm doing honyaki. There's stones that I prefer in NSK Kogyo for honyaki. There's other that are for just doing edge sharpening. There's other for doing sanmai, carbon steel, powdered steel. You can really get the results you're looking for, and you can fine tune the results with all these different stones. So the main series of NSK Kogyo Diamond stones are Kyokuha, Hakuto 1, 2, and 3, Oboro Knife, and Oboro Tool. Each one actually is really unique and offers a really different cutting experience, different sharpening experience. So let's look at all the different types of stones, grits in the NSK Kogyo lineup. Let's start with Kyokuha. There's 200, 300, 400, 5 to 600, 800, 1000, 1500, 2000, 3000, 4000, 6 to 8000, 10,000, 16,000. This series has a large variety of grit range, mainly because it's such a multi-purpose stone. It's also the original NSK Kogyo Diamond stone. So I would say Kyokuha is more of an entry-level, beginner type stone for people that are interested in diamond stones and want something that's very easy and to use and has a lot of good feedback. It's pretty much good for knives all across the board. Different type of steel, different type of knife, they're great for that. In the Hakuto series, there's Hakuto 1, which comprises of 200, 400, 400S, 800, 800S, 1500, 3000, 6000, and 10,000. Then you move into Hakuto 2, which is 3000, 3000S, 6000, 6000S, and 10,000. Then into Hakuto 3, which is 3000, 6000, and 12,000. Hakuto 1 is a harder stone. Hakuto 2 is a bit softer, and then Hakuto 3 is very different. It's a softer diamond stone. It feels very similar to a soft, kind of muddy, natural stone. Hakuto 1, 2, and 3, I feel for myself, they're a little bit more advanced, and you have to understand sharpening a bit better and understand technique, how to use the stones, how to resurface the stones, and generally how to maintain the stones so you get the best performance from them. So there's two types of Oboro stone that we mentioned before. There's the Oboro Tool and Oboro Knife. Oboro Tool has Kyokuha, which is around 2000 grit. The grit ranges are much more similar to how natural stones are. Mainly for, I would say, kana and chisel nomi. It is good for single beveled tools. Then there's Oboro Knife, which is a new series that we've developed that I'm primarily using out of the NSK series. In Oboro Knife we have 200, 400, 800, 2000, 4000, and 6000. It's more straightforward. There's not a lot of different grit ranges, hardness, softness. So it's pretty simple to understand this series. That is a little bit harder than Hakuto 1. Of course, the other stones, Hakuto series and also Oboro Tool, are very good for tools, but the Oboro Knife is better for actually a lot of full sharpening across either the Kyokuha or doing thinning or reshaping of an entire blade. So making the stones a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressive was really important. Of course, if you're looking for a softer stone or a much harder stone, that's what is so incredible about NSK, because you have this vast variety of stones that is actually incredible. So say you do want to get a softer stone for polishing or for blending, you can go to Hakuto 2 or Hakuto 2S. But if you do want a much harder stone, you can go for Oboro Tool or Hakuto 1. So it's really unique and something that I have not found in any stone anywhere in the world. One of the very unique things about the NSK Kogyo series or system is that they've made, or he's made actually, flattening dressing stones in different grit ranges that can be used on all of the series. So in the flattening stones, the different grits are 200, 400, 600, 1000, 3000, and 6000. That's another very unique thing about NSK Kogyo Diamond stones, that he makes flattening stones for each grit range. For the grit ranges from 200 to 1500, you can use any of the flattening stone. 200, 400, 600 up to 1000. When you go past 1500, 3000 all the way to 12,000 or 30,000, it's really important to resurface those stones, and that the last flattening stone you're using is very similar to that grit range. For example, if you're doing 3000, you want it to be around a 1000 grit flattening stone. You don't want to flatten the 3000 grit stone with a 400 grit stone and leave the surface like that. So it's really important with the higher stones that you at least match it with a 1000 grit or higher flattening stone. for example, let's say I want to flatten a 800 Oboro Knife stone. If I've been doing heavy work on it, then I'll start with the 200 grit flattener, just to resurface it and get it flat. And then after that, I'll use a 1000 grit flattener to resurface the stone. So within each NSK Kogyo stone, you're going to receive this little wafer. And they are also similar to the grit in the stone, so they cover a grit range. And what these are very good for using, one is to refresh the stone during sharpening, and the other thing is to resurface the stone after you've used the flattening stone or the dressing stone. Next is a new product that's really unique, and that is a full diamond Nagura or dia Nagura. And these are so unique in that it's a full piece of diamond stone that actually matches each grit. And these stones are so unique, you can use them during sharpening to refresh the stone. You can create a light slurry or mud on the stone, but you can also use these after you've flattened the stone in the higher grit ranges to resurface the stone and get the stone in the best shape and the best performance. One thing that's so unique about NSK Kogyo as a company is that he's one guy. And because of that, the feedback and the interaction with him to make all these different stones is very organic. So if there's an idea or a problem that we want to solve or something new we want to make, it happens. It's very unique. It's very, for people that are really interested in knife sharpening. That's one thing about NSK stones, is that they're evolving and they're always changing and always getting better and better. So the NSK Kogyo Diamond stones, I would call them actually a handmade stone, but handmade at a very high level. From testing a lot of other diamond stones, I've found that the grit ranges are not very accurate. When you're polishing, you're going from one grit to the next grit. You really want your grits to be fairly accurate. And what I found with the NSK Kogyo stones is that they are accurate, very accurate. So it makes going from, say, 200 to 400, 400 to 800, and so on. It makes it very easy, it makes it very efficient. That was a brief overview of the NSK Kogyo Diamond stones, and in the next video we're going to kind of go over my techniques and the ways I use them and some tips on how to use them. See you in the next video.